Hi everyone, this is the second recording regarding Elliott waves. In the first video I talked about bullish Elliott wave, the 5 waves. Now I'm going to talk about the bearish 5 waves as well. So it's basically the same thing. The 3 rules I talked about in the first video apply here as well, and all you have to do is just turn it over in the opposite direction. So this is how the basic 5 wave move looks like. The first wave, second wave, third wave, fourth wave, and fifth wave. Something I should have said in the first video, and I want to make sure I say it here, is be careful, be wary of the second and the fourth wave. These are corrective waves, and they can be very tricky to trade, especially if you are trading probably the day the 1 hour chart or the 4 hour chart, maybe less, 15 minutes and so on. Be careful of the second and the fourth waves. They are very tricky and they can stop you out of your trades. So if you know that the trend is going down, just concentrate on looking for the third wave, and if you miss the third wave, then probably you take the fifth wave. Forget about the second and the fourth wave. They stop you out most times, often than not. Check your trades. You will find out that most of the times that you got stopped out was probably because you were trying to trade the fourth or the second wave. So with that said, let's move on from here. Let's have a look at some charts. So this is how it will look like on your chart. A bearish 5 waves. We have the first wave, we have the second wave, the third wave, the fourth wave, and the fifth wave, and then it corrects itself to begin another waveform. So this is the USD Cad Monthly Chart. I want you to look at this chart for a while and tell me what you see. Okay, so we have the first, the second, and we have a very long third wave here, and a steep fourth wave, and then a fifth. Conversely, we can also call this the first wave, second, third wave, fourth wave, fifth wave, then a correction into another wave, which will now become wave 1, wave 2, and then the start of wave 3 here. So there are so many ways, and when you are counting waves, it's rather subjective. In other words, what I see on the chart may not really be exactly what you see on the chart. So you don't get hung up on the way I'm counting the waves. You count it in the way that you will understand. That doesn't mean you count it willy-nilly, but I'm trying to tell you that some people might see this in form of fractals, not just as a whole single wave here. Okay, so do it at your own pace and you'll be just fine. So we are looking at another chart now. This is the Aussie USD weekly chart. So tell me what you see here. Okay, so for me, I see this as my first wave, second wave, the third wave, which is also an extension, fourth wave, and the fifth wave, and then we have a correction. Okay, so far, let's look at another. This is the USD Jpy Daily Chart. So we have the first wave, second wave, third wave, fourth wave, and fifth wave. And if you are just watching this video, if you haven't watched the first, I do recommend that you read up a little bit about Elliott waves. In other words, understand what we are talking about here. For instance, you know that the second wave can never be higher than the first wave, okay? And the third wave can never be the shortest wave. So basic things like this ought to be known about Elliott wave when you are counting. Don't just look at some choppy situations and decide that you are counting waves. You have to bear these rules in mind. So let's look at this chart. This is the Aussie Sweezy 4-hour chart. I'm sure by now you're able to identify the bullish wave here, but we're not talking about that. If you can look at this place my cursor is on, you can actually see the 5 waves here, okay, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and then wave 5, or wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and 5, okay. So this is where I'm focusing on right now. I bet you were thinking that this was the first wave, right? But that is not so, because this point is actually lower than here, so it can't be first wave, second wave, okay? The second wave can't be higher than the first, so of necessity we have to start from here. We have to start counting the waves from here. So we have the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth, okay? And of course you can see the other wave formation starting here. Let's look at this chart for a while. This should be pretty easy for you to see now. Okay, so we have the first wave. This is the gold XAU USD 1 hour chart, by the way. So we have the first wave, second wave, third wave, fourth wave, and the fifth wave. So what I'm trying to show you here is that knowing how to count these waves makes your trading so much simpler and easier and less complex. You don't have to think too much when you want to place a trade. So my recommendation is, when you want to trade, find a market that is trading, preferably from the weekly. Start from the weekly or the daily chart. Determine the trend, okay? Make sure you find a trend that is moving in a direction you can see clearly, either going up or going down. And now when you see that trend, go to the lower level charts and begin to look for how you can count the trends. Of course, I have other videos that will explain that in detail, but I'm just trying to give you a basic idea here that trading doesn't have to be complicated, okay? It's actually quite simple and easy. All you have to do is just know these basic rules and you will do just fine. So this concludes my tutorial on Elliott wave. I hope that it was meaningful for you, and I wish you profitable trading. Thank you very much.